My name is Benny Harding, and I'm the Executive Director of Admissions here at FIDM. Our goal for today is to pull back the curtain, have you get to know our college a little bit better, and learn some of the reasons why FIDM is such a special and unique place. I've invited a panel of distinguished guests to join me in the conversation today. I'd like to introduce each person joining us today. If you join us on the screen. Representing our design majors, please welcome Dinah Morgan, Chairperson for Interior Design and also a Fidm alumna. In addition, representing our business majors, we have Dr. George Sims. He's the Chairperson of our Business Management and Business Administration program. Also with us today, representing the FIDM Special Projects, please welcome Amanda Starling, our Chairperson of Special Projects, IMPD, Textile Science, and Denim. Also, I'd like to introduce to you Kathy Gilbert, who is our Assistant Director of Admissions, and she'll be joining us later for our Q&A that we'll have towards the end. And then, lastly, we have two students joining us today as well. Jing Yi is a third quarter merchandise and marketing student, and Mina Sanders is a visual communications graduate who has decided to continue her education with us and is now pursuing her bachelor's in business management. Again, our panel will be available for a live Q&A at the end. So if you have a question for one of our guests, please just click the Q&A button below and we'll answer as many questions as we can. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's begin with a question for all of our panelists. There are many colleges that students can choose from, but what would you say makes FIDM different and sets us apart from all the others? Dinah, would you like to start?
Of course, Benny, thank you. FIDM is recognized as a fashion college, but we offer more than just traditional fashion. Our design majors range from apparel, digital media, fashion, footwear, graphic, interior, jewelry, textile, and visual design. We teach design and we work under the belief that if you understand the basics of design, the process of design, you will have the ability to design just about anything. But here, specialization is the key.
Very good. Amanda, what could you add to that?
Thank you, Benny. Fidm is very unique in the opportunities that we bring to our students. We do have a lot of industry collaborations, and that brings real world industry experience and interaction to our students. Fidm's determined to educate our students to succeed in technical aspects as well as soft skills. So this allows our students to be better prepared when they're ready to graduate. And the faculty at Fidm brings industry knowledge, and they use innovative methodologies to help the students learn, and they apply these industry principles during these interactive simulations.
Great. And what does specialized education look like at Fidm compared to other colleges? What is the foundation of Fidm's specialized programs? George, would you like to start with that one?
Sure, Minnie. In the business programs, we present students with perhaps a new and different concept of Fidm. In these programs, Fidm becomes what we refer to as a circle of understanding. FIDM becomes financial understanding, innovation, design, and management, which takes us back to financial understanding, because as we teach, all problems in management are financial, and they must be solved through creative and innovative thinking.
Oh, go ahead, George.
We bring creativity into the study of leadership because we know that if you combine creativity and leadership, any problem can be solved. An example of that in our industries is in the apparel industry. Logistics management in the apparel industry is unlike any other business that you might think of. Most companies would have 1 or 2 products a year. In the apparel industry, there will be 4 to 6 seasons a year, with each season requiring multiple products in multiple sizes, in multiple colors, at multiple price points, with delivery dates literally in hours. If you can understand logistics in the apparel industry, you can survive in that area and bring that knowledge to any other professional involvement.
That makes a lot of sense in what we do. Dinah, what would you share?
I think talking about the foundation of our programs, all of our design programs deal with both manual and digital individual skill sets. And that's one of the things that for specific areas of design, it's necessary to have those skill sets and both of them. We think we live in a digital world, but our hand skills are still very important. Our programs are hands-on, they're interactive, they're collaborative. They also allow our students to enter the enter the design industries with a solid foundation in technology. We use Adobe Creative Suite, pattern making software through Gerber Acumark, interior architectural software, including AutoCAD and Revit through Autodesk, as well as Maya for digital media and Rhino for footwear, jewelry, and interior design. Students are given this opportunity, and with this technology, they have an opportunity to take this knowledge in a concentrated amount of time to be able to get out and work within the industry. We also have some great collaborative activities, and participation in one of them is called Sharing Styles. It's a collaboration that incorporates 3 different design disciplines. It incorporates fashion, it incorporates interior, and it incorporates textile design. And you see on the screen an example of exactly what I'm talking about. This is Sharing Styles from the year 2000. Our textile design students designed these collections, and our interior design students designed the chairs. Our fashion design students designed the garments. And the fun thing is that fashion design students are responsible for creating and fabricating their own garments. The chairs, not so much. The chairs are done with tremendous industry support. And without that industry support, we would not have these type of collaborations as successfully and professionally done as you can see in these slides.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. It was such a great job all the students did this year.
You can see how their individual skill sets grew out of this, the creative synergy, and then the industry mentorship. So it was a very successful project. And to be honest with you, it's been a project that we have had in place for this being our 20th year. So it's not anything new.
20 years, that's great.
Yeah, 20 years for that.
Yeah. Well, every year they get more and more beautiful, and the talents of the students keep evolving. So it's just wonderful to see. Dinah, you just mentioned a lot of different software programs, which leads me to the next question I'd like to ask. Prospective students often wonder, are there any particular skills I should have if I aspire to attend Fidm? Do I already need to know how to draw, sew, or use all of the programs you mentioned?
We work on the premise that you're coming to the college as a student with some basic computer literacy and possibly some artistic skills that you've drawn. Even if it was popsicle trees in elementary school, it's still that you have an affinity toward these artistic skills. They are a great starting point. What you bring to us is fabulous, but we work under the impression that we're going to have to teach you everything. So as long as you're curious and you're passionate and you're enthusiastic, you're already off to a great start, because those are the kind of skills that will allow you to take those computer classes, to take those art classes and say, I can do this. This is cool.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
That's great. George, from a business standpoint, how would you answer a student for this?
Well, Minnie, I think most colleges and universities don't approach business education as a creative exploration. We know that identifying and solving business issues can be as much a form of art as music or the visual arts. Financial analysis reporting, for example, must be viewed as a visual image of an organization's overall performance, and strategic business focus and management must be creative if it's going to be effective. Our focus is really on the business of design and the design of business, the business of design and the design of business. Regardless of what you're doing, whether it's design or marketing or creative development or manufacturing, if you're not creating a path to revenue generation, then you will not be successful. We believe that imagination leads to creativity, creativity leads to innovation, and innovation will lead to professional opportunity.
That makes a lot of sense. And Amanda, from your perspective.
Thank you, Benny. I think Dinah and George said a lot of the things that we do look for in the students that do aspire to come to Fidm, but we really do look for that student that wants to be a change maker, that student that's creative, that out of the box mindset, those students that want that interactive education. They want to see the classroom, but they want to see those industry collaborations. They start off with a creative design, then we start working with companies in some of these projects that we have. We've worked with companies like Red Bull, where we've worked with them to develop products for some of their Red Bull Wings team, which was really exciting. These are our students at Red Bull at one of the events that we had there. We've worked with students at a Lucky Brand, and students there were able to present to the executives and take concepts from sustainable initiatives, looking at Lucky's waste that they have, leftover sample, leftover fabric, and they've implemented some of these ideas that our students had back into their store, back into their marketable products. And it's exciting to see how our students can get mentored by the industry and really work on a marketable product in a sustainable world, which is something our students really desire to know more about.
Well, thank you for sharing those examples. Another question, how does our curriculum challenge students to find their career identity? Dinah, from a design aspect, what would you say?
One of the things that happens in terms of career identity is that so many of our students come to us knowing they want to be in a creative or a business mindset when they go through their program. And so from our standpoint, from our structure, it comes initially at the admissions process. Our students determine where they want to be career-wise many times with the assistance of admissions. Then once the student starts a program, that's when they get into the curriculum, and that's when they have the student experiences that help mold that. To Amanda's point, we get them out in the industry. They have to research, they have to participate. And the more the student learns about all of the possibilities in their chosen field or another chosen field, the more enlightened they become. The curriculum, the resources, the faculty, and the industries are all here to support this exploration and this growth. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's very evident. Amanda, how do you see this happening through special projects?
I agree with Dinah. I think that there is an immersion with our students, and that immersion starts with the research. They really do dive into that research, and then they take that research and they learn how to apply those principles, and they learn how to make strategic decision making. George had mentioned that in business as well. So whether they're designing or they're in the business aspect or they're creating or whatever aspect it might be, they're able to really have that confidence when they leave Fidm and they enter the marketplace. And it allows the students in special projects additional educational opportunities above and beyond the curriculum they're in. So they may not have a course that covers sustainability, but we offer Fidm courses that those students can take to be able to get that information. This is a slide that we have on a project we did with guests, and we had a sustainable initiative where our students were able to work with guests. With the virtual learning, we were able to then pull the guest team into the meeting from Europe, and these students' products are now going to be a part of the guest collection moving forward in fall 2021. So wow. We're very, very excited to see how the students can make these decisions, and these decisions can be implemented. This is a sustainable initiative that the students learned about through some of the organizations in the US, and it's been very exciting to see their products come out of this and be able to be put into the marketplace.
Oh, that's really great. What a wonderful experience for those students to see it come to fruition. George, what's your perspective from the business program?
I think both Dinah and Amanda raised some interesting points. In the business program, we don't focus on preparing graduates for something. We hope to be able to prepare them for anything. Our goal is to give them the tools to be able to attack any professional challenge that may come their way. I often tell students, and I tell them you can write this down, 5 years after you graduate, more than likely you're going to be doing something you never thought you'd be doing. It happens to all of us. And we want you to be prepared to pursue those professional goals. So our goal is to help them get ready to succeed.
That's great. Well, George, you actually said something really interesting regarding how we don't just prepare students for something. And you know, he's right. We don't just prepare students for a job. We prepare them for an industry. Could you all elaborate more on that?
Penny, I can. In terms of our student population come from such varied backgrounds and experiences. For some, the AA programs provide enough content and confidence for them to immediately take advantage of a broad cross-section of career opportunities. It's not unusual for one of the internships that they do to become their first industry job. And for others, continuing to one of our design-focused Bachelor of Arts degrees, either in creative industry studies, design, digital cinema, graphic design, interior design, or design-focused advanced study programs, entertainment set design and decoration, fashion design, film and TV costume design, or theater design all allow the graduate the platform for a more in-depth knowledge and specialization within a classroom environment. And many of them need that and want that. That's why they're coming to us. So it gives us an opportunity to be very flexible for any of the students that come into our majors.
Right. And George, could you elaborate on the business end?
Yeah, students have the opportunity to integrate their creative focus with the business understanding that hopefully will allow them to be successful. After completing the first 2 years, their AA degree, whether it's in design or merchandising or product development, they can then add as the junior senior year, those 2 years of business understanding to merge the business with creative design, which allows the graduates to explore professional opportunities in a very broad range of endeavors. That's the ultimate goal of the Fidm experience.
Amanda, would you like to share?
Of course. I think that along with what Dinah and George said, we really do encompass the global world today at Fidm. And we look at global concepts and we look at hybrid education, whether it be through special projects or the field trips or the interaction that we have with student travel or anything that we bring into the classroom. And that is, again, strengthening those students' ability to make decisions and manage when they do graduate and they go out into the world. And I talked a little bit about the students in the industry collaborations, but they do focus on the beginning of a concept all the way to post-consumer. Then we look at trends and we look at the global world. And with everything happening today, our students they have this wonderful opportunity in such a challenged world to really make a difference in many, many different ways. So understanding how to work into teams, how to support each other, how to take a lead, how to step back, how to follow. And as they start incorporating their work into the global world, they're going to learn how to manage these outcomes and these strategic goals that they have.
And, you know, it's just wonderful to see and watch as the years go on, our graduates fulfill exactly what you've all shared. You know, there isn't one college that hasn't been affected by the COVID-19 this year. How has Fidm risen to this challenge and responded to the need of remote and online learning? George, would you like to start?
Sure. Well, business today is global. Doesn't matter what field you're going to be in, business is global. Graduates must be able to conduct virtual business involvements. In the Bachelor of Science in Business Management program, we've been offering online classes for over 16 years. And many of the general studies classes are offered in the online format, whether it's micro and macroeconomics or even professional presentation, it can be offered and taken online. And many of the business-centric courses in other programs are also offered online. While the pandemic presented some interesting challenges, it's certainly not a new academic format for Fidm.
Dinah, from a design aspect, how was that accomplished in your areas?
The ability that we had to retool and provide remote instruction was done with great agility. And that's because we had a fully committed faculty, support staff, and administration behind the efforts. I mean, we turned on a dime from our standpoint. Providing remote instruction through Zoom and Canvas has allowed us the virtual connection between students and the faculty to become what I refer to as a visual connection, as well as a global connection. All of the classroom activities, the demos, the presentations, the critiques, they're all in place. But this virtual reality is allowing these classroom activities now to become a simulated workspace. So as you have a student says, well, when I get into the real world, well, guess what? You are in the real world. And what we are doing in the classroom now is giving you even more preparation because it's become the real world.
Yeah, indeed. Amanda, I'm sure you have some thoughts on this.
Of course. I think at first with the students, they were a little worried, they were a little fearful, but it's really turned out to be an amazing opportunity because, again, what Dinah and George said, being such an encompassing global world, we've been able to bring speakers into the classroom where every student could attend. And in past, if students were on location, not everyone could go. So we've had some amazing opportunities with this platform. And I agree 100% with what Dinah says. We have now taken our students and they've had to learn how to be even more flexible, more organized, learn how to communicate on a different platform, learn what that means. We've done multiple presentations with the industry, whether it be a runway show or designs or a one-on-one presentation, mentorship, things like that. So I think it's given the students another skill set to advance them and prepare them for the industry. And that's really what Fidm's about, is technical skills, but also soft skills and making sure these students feel confident and comfortable when they step into the industry.
And that makes me think, what opportunities do Fidm students have outside of the classroom?
Benny, from the standpoint of our industries, our classroom exercises and our outside of the classroom exercises hold equal importance. The support of our industries through internships, through field trips, through study tours, special projects, and activities, they're integral to the classroom experience. Organizations such as NRF, which is the National Retail Federation, provided challenges for student teams. And from our standpoint, these student teams were made up of both the design and the business majors. And that's the one thing that all of our design programs, students that come into our design programs think, oh, I'm going to be a designer. I don't need any business background. George just sits and laughs at me when I say that. And I point all of our students to George and say, you just asked that gentleman, because opportunities like this NRF competition that was sponsored by Target allowed business students and design students to create a product that they pitched to a retail organization that wanted it to be lovely, but they wanted it to be saleable. So these kind of innovations that both the business aspect and the design aspect could do as students gives them the type of opportunity that they get in a classroom, but they get through these types of sponsorships. Other things like projects that come through our Career Center, our faculty, our alumni all provide avenues for this kind of activity which stimulates and reinforces what's going on in the classroom. New avenues are currently being explored in our virtual environment. Amanda's given us a lot of examples about that. We are being able to contact and connect with people that here in Los Angeles, we're fortunate. We think we have a lot of opportunity to connect, but we are global. So we'll continue to access our traditional resources in non-traditional ways. And we look forward to building those new opportunities outside of the classroom with all of those players that we've already discussed.
And Amanda, I think you have some things to share with us that go along with that.
I do. I think that besides the collaboration with the industry, what Dinah was saying through the different projects that we worked with, the students are now able in this new world we have of virtual learning to collaborate with each other. And we're seeing special classes put together and special opportunities put together where we have different students coming in that might be a graphic design student that now is working with a project in Cotton Incorporated, because now cotton is going into wallpaper and insulation and things like that, or they're doing something different with their application. So it really is allowing these students to come together cohesively. With it being Zoom, we're seeing more students. We're able to manage different kinds of programs. So Cotton Incorporated is a grant program we've been doing for about 20 years, and they are very, very supportive. The other things that we've been able to implement, where we did have a component to visit a farm, to go see cotton grown, or we had a situation where we were able to interact on a virtual tour in another country. We have now made those tours where we're bringing the farmer into the classroom. We're bringing sustainable initiatives. We're bringing people from Italy into the classroom to speak. So it just all comes back to, again, our students having that global opportunity, being supported by the industry, being able to engage with each other. It really has been an exciting time, a challenging time, but a very rewarding time for our students.
Yeah, that's very evident. Thank you for sharing all these examples. They've been great to see. And what we'd like to do now is invite Mina and Jing to join us. And we'd like to hear from their student perspective. And, you know, at Fidm, we take great pride in supporting students throughout their time here, from the beginning with their admissions advisor and continuing throughout their program with the faculty, the department chairs, the academic, student, and career advisors. So from a student's perspective, Mina and Jing, how do you feel supported by all the resources here at FIDM? Jing, would you like to start?
Yeah, well, I think like just from the very beginning, like when I was even in high school, just trying to see what college I wanted to go to, I feel like Fidm, once I like talked to people at Fidm and I talked to the administration, I just felt like you guys really are like a community. I think since it's so tight knit and it's so curated towards one industry, that I really think, you know, you feel like your professors know you, you feel like you know the people that are at your school, and you feel like everyone has your best interest. I think it's really cool how we have the career center where you can talk to somebody about whether it's, you know, after Fidm, getting a job, or during like your college years, getting a job, getting an internship. You just really have someone there by you every step of the way, which I think is really cool.
Great. And Mina, from your perspective?
Yeah, it's just to piggyback off of that. I definitely agree with everything that you were saying. And I think that for me as well, it's really that sense of community and unity. And from the start, just like me with high school, learning about Fidm, I decided to visit and I attended 3 days of fashion, and even just having that opportunity to see the campus and be in a situation where I'm from the East Coast, so I couldn't just, you know, take a road trip on the weekend. So having that event was so amazing, and just the resources have continued throughout my experience at Fidm, and Career Center, Idea Center, the library, just going and having a family and having people available to help me if I need guidance, and resumes, cover letters, opportunities, and being on a good basis and with my career advisor, and having her phone number and being able to call her, and her being able to call me and say, I have this opportunity, I think you would be great. And just forming those relationships, they're so important, and they've definitely helped me even come out of my shell as I've gotten older and be able to mature into the industry.
That's great. And Mina, you finished a degree and you're on your way now to your second degree. What motivated you to go from the visual to the business management step?
I think for me personally, I was always planning on doing that because I wanted to be more marketable in the industry. I wanted to have that very hands-on opportunity and that background, and then kind of challenge myself a little bit and bring in that other side of my brain, kind of like the left and right brain, and balance those together and really find where my strengths are and really go with them. And I know I've always known that I was a creative person, but I wanted to see, you know, what the business industry is like, and being able to understand different, you know, there's the basics and then there's things that obviously you go into along the lines and you're like, wow, I actually understand this, and I understand these documents, and I know what these words mean. And it's really awesome to be able to have conversations with people and being financially literate and understanding, well, this is this business, but there's so many other things in the background. So I know how to create a window display, but I also know how to budget for it. I know different things about the company, and I also know about the consumer. So it really gives me a good background.
Sure. I know I've talked with other students and alum over the time that have done the creative first and then the business second, and they've indicated that they've gotten a whole 360 degree, that when they go out to interview, the opportunities for them, because they can use their left and right brain, they can use that business sense and apply it, but they also know how to read, you know, be it the spreadsheets and or a blueprint, that they have both skills that they can bring to the table to an employer. Jing, I believe you're upon completion of your program. Is that correct?
So I just finished my third quarter. So I'm
okay.
in AA right now. Yeah. So
okay. So you're starting your second year?
Yeah.
In the fall, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great.
It's been amazing. I feel like even just, I've only been here for a really short time, but I feel like because the projects and the professors are so integrated like into the industry, like everything is so current that honestly, I feel like as I'm learning, I'm also being able to apply everything I'm learning into my everyday life. Like I have an internship right now, and I just feel like I'll go to class one day, and then like the next day I go to my internship, I'm like, holy crap, I was like just learning about this like in my class, and I know how to like Mina said, I know how to read this, or like I understand what this means, you know, and I feel like I can actually have a fluid conversation with someone that's in the industry and sound educated and prepared.
Right. And I assume that's a virtual internship, or is it a hands-on one?
So in the beginning, we started out, I was like going into the offices, but right now everything is just over like virtual, and we just email, we just get on Zoom calls and talk. So yeah.
Yeah, great. And for both of you, this question, you know, going from on-site, maybe you'd had some e-learning classes in the past, but now that you're in your second quarter of doing a remote online and e-learning experience, could you share with the audience what that's been like? Either one of you can start.
Yeah, I can go first. So for me, it definitely wasn't, it was kind of a shock because everything happened so quickly, but I feel like going back to the roots and the community of Fidm, being able to talk to people that are in those virtual classes that I knew, or even just being able to reach out to people through e-learning and exchange phone numbers, emails, and be able to, you know, talk to my teachers about the assignments. Everything is still open. Everything is still approachable, and you just have to take that step and, you know, talk to your teachers, talk and ask questions. That's something that I feel like a lot of people are a little bit timid about, is asking questions and different things like that. So for me, I definitely have loved all of the resources and how easy everything has been just from the start. And I think that it's been, all things considered, it's been an amazing transition. I have no complaints, and I just feel lucky to be able to have that foundation because the business program already had online classes. So for me, I have been able to kind of just transition very easily, and that's been amazing. And I can continue on to do that. And I think it's been 100% a great opportunity.
Great. Well, I appreciate your reflections on that, Mina. How about for you, Jing?
Yeah, kind of following what Mina said, I think, you know, one of the really great things that we had in class was that our professors, they're working professors, you know, they're working in the industry, and they're bringing their knowledge that they may have just like something that they've experienced just weeks prior to class, rather than reading a textbook that may be 10, 20, 30 years old, you know, when the industry is evolving so quickly. And I think what's been really great with the transition is that we're still able to speak to our professors. They're still able to give us their insight rather than just post something and be like, hey, just read this, you know, like they're able to be like, hey, like this is what's going on right now. Like, let's form our project around this thing that's happening, you know, around the world. Or, and kind of like Mina said, we're able to connect, and we've been doing group projects, and a lot of those group projects, we get on our own Zoom calls with our 4 or 5 people, and we talk, and we're becoming friends, and we're just, we're able to still be a community.
That's great. I'm glad that was retained. In fact, we've gotten some feedback that it's even become more of a community because people are comfortable, you know, being able to maybe speak up where they didn't speak up before in class. Or I've had some students say they've met more people in their remote classes than they did when they sat beside people in a live classroom setting. So it's kind of interesting how this all has changed us, and we're finding new ways and better ways to do things. Another question, and I want to ask this of everybody that's our panelists this evening. You know, we've covered a lot of reasons that make the classes and the curriculum at Fidm very unique. Do you have any final thoughts on what sets the Fidm community apart? I'd like to ask the students to answer that first. Mina or Jing?
I think from my perspective, it really is being prepared to go out into the industry, and having the teachers and having everyone just being able to give us a different perspective and a different insight, I think is amazing. And I feel like that's not something that a lot of colleges do. And I feel like Fidm does an amazing job with that, and really giving you all the stepping stones and all of the tools to really be prepared. There's no sugarcoating. They are very open and honest, and they prepare you. You can tell that the teachers care, the professors care. They want you to do well, and they want you to learn and move forward and keep up with trends and learn new things so we can become the future as well. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Jing, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that just kind of like I touched how our professors are in the industry rather than just like working as a professor every day. I think it's really cool that like, you know, they treat you almost as if like you're going in for a job interview, you know, or they treat you as if you're already an employee. I had a professor that was like, hey, like when you turn this project in, I'm going to be treating you as if you're coming to me with this pitch of this marketing strategy. And I'm going to see, you know, like you need this to relate to the real world, and you need this to relate back to what we were learning about in class. And I think that's really valuable. You know, we're really geared to just like graduate and then really just kill it in the industry. You know, we know the skills, and we're being able to teach, like how George said, like we're able to kind of be flexible, and we're learning all these different things. You know, you're not just learning, if you go in for design, you're not just learning, you know, design stuff. You're going through like a math class, you're going through a marketing class, you're learning all the aspects of the entire industry.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we have time for one more feedback from our panelists. Dinah, would you care to finish us off with this question?
I think that both Mina and Jing have essentially looked at who is the personality and the character of our academic institution, which is, we're very fortunate. Our faculty has brought such diversity and strength to our programs, plural, doesn't matter which ones,
Right.
that this has given our students the opportunity, based on the Fidm faculty's diversity in their professional and their artistic experience, as well as their personal commitment. They want the students to experience the excitement of this creative exploration. They want, Jing, for you to go in and say, oh my goodness, this is really cool, because I'm not being treated as a student, I'm being treated like I'm going on an interview. That's where we are going, to hear that kind of background. And the other piece of our puzzle is our diversity is not just in our faculty, it's in our student population. It's in all of those students that come to us, whether they range in age from 18 to 60, whether they come right from high school, or they're pursuing their second careers, where it's a career change. We see a lot of those in interior design. And it's exciting to see all of that melding together to be such a lovely population. And at the end of the day, it becomes one large Fidm family. And I know sometimes that sounds oh so cute, but we really do look upon ourselves as one large Fidm family that feeds off of each other. So thank you, students, and thank you, faculty, and thank you, everyone that participates in making us such a lovely family.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And what we'd like to do now is open up some Q&A to our guests that are here with us this evening. And I'm going to invite Kathy Gilbert to join us again and help us with some of the questions that might be admissions oriented. Let's look and see what we have from the audience. One question we have is, what is the transfer program like? That might be something, Kathy, you might want to start with.
Oh, sure. We have about 20% of our student population that come to us with degrees, and we have about 40% of our students that come to us with some college, and every student connects with their admissions advisor to find out which program would be appropriate for them. I loved what Mina and Jane talked about in terms of relationship once a student gets to school, but that relationship really starts when they inquire. And we can assist. Every student generally will have an admissions advisor that can assist them in any transfer questions, whether it be course by course transfer, whether they have a degree and they want to explore a bachelor's or an advanced study program. So we definitely encourage students to connect with their advisor to see what programs would be appropriate for them.
Okay. Another similar question. I'm enrolled at a university and will be getting my bachelor's degree. Oh, sorry, my screen just jumped on me. Let me find that question again. Are there programs for those who already have a bachelor's degree?
There are. We have created many years ago, this is our 50th year actually, a professional designation degree designed especially for a college graduate. They certainly don't need to repeat their general studies again. So it's a program designed to be major related to provide them with the skill set to enable them to work in the industry that they are seeking. There are also some advanced study programs that students may qualify for, such as film and TV, entertainment set, menswear, that students, if they have an interest, can speak to their advisor about to see if they meet the qualifications.
Okay. And can you still apply to Fidm if you haven't gone to college for a few years?
Absolutely. We have a lot of career change students. I think it's interesting. Personally, I've worked with a lot of students through this very fragile situation that our country has been in. And many of them have realized that it's time for me to follow my heart, and have made career changes that ordinarily wouldn't have thought about it. So we are still accepting applications for the fall, which is October, as well as 2021.
Okay. And Dinah, maybe you could help us answer this question. What do the first 2 years of FIDM look like?
The first 2 years, depending upon where they're going, it goes back to the foundation. You're doing foundation courses. You're learning to develop your skill sets so that you can be prepared to do more critical thinking at a second year level. So it's a progression. All of us have majors that have sequential aspects to them, so that there is a building process, and ultimately at the end of that 2-year program, you should have a good, strong set of skills and an understanding about how the specific industry that you are gearing toward participating in works.
Okay. And what are the class size caps? And do you expect them to change when the campus reopens? Any of our department chairs like to answer that?
I'll venture into that area.
Okay.
The classes are kept small. The classes in the business program may range from 15, 18 students up to certainly no more than upper 20s. We do a lot of team assignments in the business management program. That's the way business is done. If you've got a business problem, you're going to bring together somebody from manufacturing, from sales, from finance. It's going to be a team effort. And it's hard to have meaningful team assignments if you've got very large classes. So we keep those class sizes small. In the business program, many of the classes are conducted as if they were conference rooms type of involvements, where the faculty member becomes a catalyst in the discussion and participates with students in resolving the case studies that may be dealing with.
Right. And probably just,
Benny,
oh, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Benny. Also, in terms of the computer classes, we cap our computer classes because we have computer labs, and you're not going to have more than 15 students with one instructor in a computer lab. And that's for all of our, it doesn't matter what major you're in terms of skill sets, you need that smaller and that opportunity to interface with your instructor. And the labs are set up so that the instructors can reinforce by walking the room exactly what's going on. The fun thing is that now that we are not in the classroom, we're not on ground, the instructors have that same opportunity in a Zoom situation. And the other thing with a Zoom situation is that you're talking about no more than 20, 24 students that can be in a class, in a normal classroom, because of the Zoom opportunities, the little squares on Zoom that allow that kind of participation. So we have, whether it's been on ground or it's been in a remote situation, we've been able to cap those classes. But as I said, I think the technical skills that we all need to teach, whether it's in the fashion design area or interior design area, those studios need to be small enough so that the student gets the attention that they intend to have when they come to us.
Sure. And I think I might add, because I think the second part to that question, which has now disappeared off my screen, was what will it be like once we're back on campus? And to speak to that, you know, certainly Fidm is looking forward to opening our doors again to our students. But we know during this COVID time, even when the local and state government says, hey, it's okay, and you can begin inviting your students back, we're going to be needing to do that in a different way. If it's a hybrid class that a student's in, it might look something like, you know, a few weeks of each of the sessions of the 10 weeks. Some students will be on campus, some will be on the remote. Reverse that, because we know we're going to be practicing the appropriate physical distancing in the classroom, setting up the labs that way, the pattern rooms, the computer rooms, certainly our library, certainly our idea center. And with that in mind, we're probably going to have students making appointments to be there so that we know that we are giving our students the best and safest environment for their return. So a lot of consideration will be taken for that. Here's a question for you, Amanda. What is the International Manufacturing and Product Development Program like?
Thank you, Benny. The International Manufacturing and Product Development major, or we know it as IMPD for many, many years, is a program that is an advanced study program. It's normally taken the third year of a student's curriculum. And basically those students look at they look at the process. So they go from concept through production completion. And with that, they don't just learn one part of the process, they're responsible for learning every part of the process. They work in teams, they work in one whole conglomerate of teams, and then they have individual assignments as well. But it is a global interaction with an industry mentor. We've worked with Nike, we worked with Converse, we worked with Levi's, we worked with a lot of Herbalife, we worked with a lot of big companies over the years. And we are, again, trying to give those students a interactive setting while they're getting their degree, where they are both doing the academic side as well as they're in the industry with an industry project. So hopefully I answered that part.
Yeah, definitely. We have a question. I think this would be for Kathy. I want to enroll in Fidm. However, I don't know what major to take. How do we work with students to help them determine their majors?
Well, again, the relationship begins with the advisor. and we connect a student with an advisor that can guide them in determining, do they have creative interest? Do they have business interest? What is their vision for their future? And by working with the student and having them go through the application process, doing the project, writing essays, it really helps a student to focus in on what is their dream job.
Okay, very good. For the students, this is a question to you, Mina and Jing. How many hours per week are you in class, and approximately how many hours of work are you doing at home? Of course, right now you're at home, so everything's there, but if you could break that down for us.
As an example, so my schedule right before I started doing online learning was I went to class, I had 2 classes on Tuesdays, so I was there probably for about like 4-ish hours, considering like the break in between and all the breaks in between my classes. And then I was taking 2 on, so I was 2 on Tuesdays, 2 on Thursdays, and then I had 1 on Wednesdays. So I easily could have probably put my 1 on Wednesday into like a Tuesday or a Thursday, so I only had to go to campus 2 times. And then as for homework, I would probably say about each class, like realistically, probably like an hour or 2, give or take. I think like some classes you'll have a bigger project where you may need to work on it for like 4 hours, you know, and then one class you may have a project that may only take you an hour or so. So I would say about maybe like each class maybe like 2 or 3 hours of homework.
Okay. And would you agree with that, Mina? And you've had the visual, so you've had that design balance too in classes versus the business, creative business that Jing has had.
Yeah, so for me, previously, it also depends on how many classes you're taking. For me, I did a full course load, both degrees, and the past 2 quarters before this, I was doing 2 classes on one day and 3 classes on another day. So pretty much full days. And for me, it's just like how I'm organized. So I like to get things done. And then I like, even now with online learning, I like to stay organized and have specific days that I'm going to work on projects. And in the business program, we have a lot of ongoing projects. So I like to set aside time and work on things that obviously need to be immediately done, but then also set aside time for things that will eventually need to be worked on in groups or will be due at the end of the quarter or a midterm. So for me, I try and really stay organized and space things out. But I'd say for regular assignments, not projects, it would be an hour or 2 depending on each class.
Okay, very good. We have someone talking about they're in the medical field right now and they're doing a career change and they're looking seriously at Fidm for the merchandise and marketing program, and they're very excited but very nervous about it too. Kathy, maybe you could speak to this. What are some of the options on the careers for merchandise and marketing students after graduating, or what about the internships?
You know, the Career Center works with the students when school starts. So not only are they working or taking their classes, but they're also networking and working with the Career Center. Probably 80% of the students are in jobs they had no idea even existed. And like Jing mentioned, having the option to do internships while in school is really an eye-opener. It is a big change. And we've had students from law, from medicine, from education make career changes and are so incredibly happy. So I think it's taking advantage of all the opportunities that the college has to offer, like Amanda's special projects. From all majors can do those. And just being involved in this school, being involved in the clubs, and just putting your foot out there and, tapping it lightly into things that you hadn't even thought would be of interest, because you never know where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And if I can add on to the question about confusion about majors for our seniors out there and our juniors out there, and even our transfer students, be sure to join us on August 22nd for our open house.
Yes.
The staff and faculty have put an incredible amount of time and effort into a wonderful event. And that would be a great way to learn more about the majors and about the opportunities within each major.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I'm glad you brought that up. Also, Kathy, if you would, when is the application deadline?
You know, we are on rolling admissions, so we interview year round. So it is not an unusual for a student to be submitting an application now for fall, and it's not unusual to be submitting one for next year. So depending on the major and at what point you are in your educational career, your working career, speak with your advisor about what the opportunity is and what your options are, and then they will guide you. But we are interviewing year round, so any questions, you know, feel free to email us, call us, and we can help guide you there.
Okay, very good. George, you're going to like this question. And the student is interested in the MBA program. They've already received their undergraduate degree, and they want to know if there's anywhere that they can find out more information on the program. Well, our website is rich with the information. And of course, we have George here. If you'd like to take a few moments to say some of the highlights of your MBA program.
Yeah, I would be happy to receive a question by email, and I will respond with some information on the program. But from a more global perspective, I must say that I'm not a fan of the term MBA, all right, for two reasons. One is every campus has an MBA program, all right, and I don't think that what we want to do is to create more business administrators. So the focus of our program might better be labeled an MBI program, a Master's of Business Innovation, because we want to focus on innovation in business and not administration. So it takes a little bit different tact in the class design and recognizing who our students are that are coming into the program, like Mina and Jing, who bring a very creative focus into the master's level business considerations. So I would suggest to you that it's a little bit different in its focus than you would find on most other campuses.
That's great. And that's so true. That's a real hallmark, I think, of your program, George, and what our students have that opportunity when they come from our business majors, they come from our design majors, and they bring together that innovation and apply the business knowledge. For the Madison, I believe is the person that asked that question, we'll have one of our individuals that are helping in the background secure your email address and give you George's email address. And we'll also, you want to know how to find out information, we'll have an admissions advisor contact you. Another individual is saying, are you guys offering any opportunities at the moment for someone who's interested in visiting the school? I can answer that for you. You know, at this time, the county and state do not permit us to invite students onto campus. We do, if you go to our website, we do have some virtual tours that you can see. Kathy mentioned earlier about the live virtual fair that we're going to be doing, and it'll have some virtual and some live aspects to it on our open house on Saturday, August 22nd, and that'll be from 10 to 3. So right now, during COVID time, those are the things that we can offer you. But we also are available, if you're not already working with an admissions advisor, to have the chance to get to know an admissions advisor and find out information firsthand. Our admissions process is very personal. We take the time to work with students and talk with them and find out more about them. So it's not like it's done by email. It's done by person to person. So we invite you for that opportunity as well. Another question, are the learning opportunities still the same online versus how it was in person? And how will it work virtually for internships, field trips, or orientation? Would one of the department chairs like to help me with that one?
I can speak to that. The advanced study programs do have travel components in the past. We've traveled to Japan and Amsterdam and Europe and North Carolina and cotton farms and some of the special projects as well. And again, we spoke briefly about it. We will still have those field trips per se. They will be virtual. We will be bringing those into the classroom until the point that we have the ability to potentially start traveling again. But for instance, in Paris, we do a tour in Paris. So that tour will become virtual. We will be bringing that into the classroom. We will be bringing the factory into the classroom where we have the person that normally tours us in the factory. It will be a virtual experience. They will be doing exactly what they were. We will just be sitting here on our Zoom and they will be doing the same information that they would do. We're going into screen printing labs and we're showing how that's done. In some ways, everybody has a front seat. So a lot of times when you have 15 students in any kind of a interactive field trip, there's always someone in the back. It's very loud. You can't always hear. So the positive is now everyone can be front and center. Everyone can hear what's said. But all of the things that we had for our student learning outcomes that had some kind of field trip or some kind of travel component, we are putting those into a very live interactive session. We actually have instructors that will be teaching from other countries from time to time as guest speakers and things like that. So this virtual world has become an opportunity for us. There's a few challenging things, but we will bring all that to the students and just in a virtual format. That's great.
I have a question, Kathy, that perhaps you can assist us with. We have a student asking, do we have opportunities for students with 504 plans or IEPs?
Absolutely. And we do provide those services through our ADA office. And we have the woman in charge is Julianne Otteson. And if anyone wants to get in touch with us, we can get you that information. Absolutely.
Okay, great. And maybe a clarification on this. Is special projects a separate major or extra classes? And how do students get involved in special projects? Amanda?
Of course. Our special projects are all projects that come from the industry. They are additional education. They are free. So we have a special projects website. Once you become a student at Fidm, it can be the first day you're here. It can be the last quarter you're here. We have a separate website where students can go on and always get alerts every time something new is up, anytime there's a new opportunity. We have run anywhere from, just in special projects, we've run anywhere from 5 to 12 at one point in time that are going. It can be anything from creating something from an interior standpoint to sustainability to shoes. So it's very exciting. We are always trying to get more information out, but all the departments support us in getting it out. Outside of special projects, again, which is granted by the industry, and it is free, there are other areas and other majors like chair and styles and different things that you would apply to that might be in the curriculum. So, but special projects are separate of the curriculum. Some of the projects actually, they are certified. So there are certain classes and things like that we have in special projects where the students will have that certification or they'll have pictures for their portfolio if they did a product. We always try to make sure the students have a takeaway to put in their portfolio.
Okay, great. I have two questions I'm going to combine into one as our last question for the evening. And I'm going to direct it to Kathy. It's, what is your advice to out-of-state students? And the combination is, I'm trying to decide between Fidm and FIT and Parsons. Is there a benefit to studying fashion in LA versus New York?
You know, the industry has shifted, and I think LA is trendy. It's an exciting, fast-paced industry. You're looking at some great schools. I think what's important is to first identify what it is that you want to study, and then make sure it matches to the curriculum that, for the school that you're looking at. I think that's the most important thing. But you're definitely looking at good schools. You just want to make sure that your experience there is going to be everything that you expect it to be from the school as a whole, whether you're in New York or LA. we love LA, and LA is an exciting city, and there's a lot of opportunity and great weather too.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
right, girls?
yeah, or that's right, because we have someone, she said, from the East Coast. I don't know if you're a California girl or where you came from, but there's something for everybody.
Well, that would be a good question for Mina. How did she arrive at FIDM?
Right,
from the East Coast.
It was it definitely was a very life-changing experience. It was great. When I attended 3 Days of Fashion, they have a parent program, and my mom went with me, and we were sitting in the park, and I kind of just looked at her, and I was just like, I feel like I'm home. So that was cool. Yeah, so
that's how you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like when you're looking at colleges, for me, Fidm was the only college that I applied to. I knew that is where I wanted to go. I applied early as a junior. And you have a feeling, and it's amazing. So and the weather is amazing. And it's really awesome meeting different people and attending a school where we all have different backgrounds and we're all from different places, but we all have a passion and we're all very creative and we just want to, have the tools to succeed in the industry. So it's awesome.
Sure. Great. And Jing, how did you find us?
So I'm actually from Utah, so I enjoy the nice weather in California as well. No more driving in the snow in the wintertime. It's so nice. But I was actually kind of, to the last question that was asked, I actually applied to FIT and Fidm also. And I was actually considering going out to New York. And I feel like the reason why I chose Fidm, honestly, was I really felt like I was going to get not only a great education out of Fidm, but I was really going to get a lot of relationships. And I just felt like kind of almost like the community was really what pulled me in. I mean, FIT was a great school, but it was just I never talked to anyone on the phone. I never knew really anyone by name. It was just kind of I was kind of confused. I'm like, wait, who am I talking to? Or did I get in? Did I not? What's going on? And so I think with Fidm, it was just the community that really just pulled me in.
Great. I'm so pleased to hear that, because I have many years in experience with student advisement and admissions. And we hear that over and over again. And it's nice to know we don't take ourselves so seriously that we're still not available in that way to all the students. And it pleases me to hear what you've had to share tonight. And we want to remind everybody, again, you're welcome to attend our open house on August 22nd. And if you have additional questions, our staff is on standby. You're welcome to email them. Give them your email address if you want us to be contacting you after this evening. And this is all the time we have for today. And I want to thank you all for joining us. And I want to say a special thank you to our panelists. And I think we can all agree they did a fantastic job showing us what makes Fidm unique. And we hope that you will continue to follow us. And for more information, we invite you to also visit our blog on fidm.edu. So until the next time, bye to everyone. Thank you.